So you're getting a puppy. Look how cute. Look how cute she is. But what do you need now? What stuff do you need to bring home your puppy? I'm gonna give you a quick list of my favorite things. Hi, I'm Haley Roden, owner of Arrowhead Bulldogs. And today I'm going to do a little bit of an explanation of some things that would be very helpful when you bring your puppy home. We'd also like to take a minute and ask you, if you like the video, to give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share all the wonderful things. And don't forget to check us out on social media. So you're bringing your puppy home soon. Maybe it's been a while since you've had a puppy, or this is your first puppy that you're bringing home and you're trying to figure out what all do you have to have. So I'm gonna go over what I actually send to my customers. I always send a list of supplies that I suggest, but I've also kind of noticed that they don't really read them and they end up texting me 100 times, which is fine if you're one of my customers. Don't be ever afraid to text me. But I thought maybe a video would be a little bit easier and more convenient for people. So one of the first things that you really want to take into consideration is, where is your puppy going to live? Not only in your house, but where at in your house? Puppies are crazy. They run, they eat things that they shouldn't eat, and how are you going to contain that puppy? So I highly suggest a crate. Specifically a crate with a divider in it that will grow with your puppy, because that divider will be very helpful in potty training. So I highly suggest a crate. Doesn't have to be, well, depending on your breed, it doesn't have to be huge, but invest wisely in your crate. I also suggest one with a side door. We'll put a link down below, but the side door, the front door, and the divider, amazing. You won't regret it. I also suggest baby gates. Sometimes as you're potty training and they're learning and they're exploring and you want them to have some free time, but maybe you need to go to the bathroom, or you're cooking dinner, or you have to step outside for just a second and you don't want your dog running around your house. Baby gates, super helpful. Whether it's just the kind that goes in the door, the kind that screws in the wall that you can open up, or even like the kind that has the baby play pin sides that have like 8 panels. I've used all of them, but these are my favorite because they're easy to put up, they're easy to take down. All right, so now you know where your puppy's gonna live. What are some supplies that you need? So as I go down my list, bear with me here, okay? I highly suggest, this is what we feed our dogs. It's frozen, so you usually find it in the freezer section. It's not in all stores, so you can go to a link and we'll click it down below so you can kind of get an idea of where you might be able to find a local dealer. But it is actually manufactured here in Ohio. So I get it straight from the company, which is amazing. But this is what I feed. I also send a bag of this home with every puppy. So no matter what food you choose to feed your dog, besides the fact that you're already making sure that it's a high quality diet, if you can't feed what your breeder is feeding, you need to make sure that they send some with you so that you can transition your puppy over to whatever it is that you're choosing to feed that puppy. I also highly suggest 100% pure pumpkin, that canned pumpkin that you get. It's usually in the baking aisle, like with the pie fillings and stuff, but don't get pie filling. You want 100% pure pumpkin. And as you're transitioning your puppy from whatever food the breeder had them on to whatever food you're going to put them on, by putting a couple spoonfuls of that pumpkin in their meal, each meal, over the course of the next couple weeks, will be really helpful in their diet to help their digest. It also helps with all of their poo functions, which will be very helpful for you in the future. So keep that in mind. So after food, let's talk about vitamins. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm a big vitamin person. As many things as I can do natural, that's what I want to do. So I typically send a little bit longer list of vitamins than what I'm going to go through today. Today I'm going to give you what I highly suggest all of my customers use. So first of all, coconut oil. 100% organic cold pressed coconut oil is pretty much the magic save all, if you will. Get the good stuff because your dog will thank you later. It doesn't matter what breed you get, coconut oil is a lifesaver. It does so many amazing things for your pets. Just for example, it's an anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial, helps fight off viruses. It's great for the skin, the coat, aids in digestion, which is also really good when you're transitioning their food over. Highly suggest that. And it can also help, it hasn't been proven, but it might also help gums and teeth. So if you don't want to have to brush your dog's teeth, I got a couple things here that we're going to go over, and this is one of them. So with this, I just put a little spoonful on each meal. They love it. It does a lot for them. And if you only have one dog, and you don't have to buy the giant tub like I do, but it's always more economical if you do. Another thing that I highly suggest, especially if you have a bull, or specifically if you're getting one of my puppies, which is obviously an English bulldog, is vitamin C. When they go to their new home, their immune system's gonna be weaker because they're stressed out, and so the vitamin C, which I'm already gonna have them on, but maybe your breeder doesn't do vitamins, adding the vitamin C into their food is going to help boost their immune system, which will then help keep them from getting sick. A lot of times people will go and they'll buy their puppy, they'll bring their puppy home, and the puppy is sick, and they wanna blame the breeder, which sometimes that's the case, but sometimes that puppy just left its home that it's known for at least 8 weeks. It's traveling, it's going to a new home with new sights, new smells, new peoples. So with all that added stress, can lower their immune system just like it does with people. So vitamin C in their food daily will be a huge help in keeping their immune system up so that they don't pick up other little things as you're going to the vet for their first checkups, or you're taking them on walks or introducing them to family. Vitamin C will be very helpful for you. The next thing I suggest are the Earthborn Holistic Dog Treats. A lot of them actually have specific, they address specific things. For example, these are the hip and joint. They have quite a bit of glucosamine in them, so if you have a dog that is more genetically disposed to have hip and joint problems, the glucosamine is a must, and this makes it's a really easy, it's a really affordable way to get that glucosamine in them, plus it's a treat, so they're just being good puppies and you're rewarding them. I also suggest apple cider vinegar, specifically raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother, because it helps balance their pH levels, it aids in digestion, and it keeps their teeth and their gums healthy. So as they're transitioning from foods and lifestyles, and they're just coming into all these new things, their belly can be upset, a little bit of apple cider vinegar in their water can be really helpful to aid any of that. Plus again, I don't want to have to brush my dog's teeth, so apple cider vinegar, coconut oil, I'm good. I don't worry about it. Next thing that people ask me a lot about are treats. I also try to send a bag of treats home with all of my customers. I like the blue buffalo wilderness treats because they're pretty tiny. Sometimes when you buy treats, puppies have a hard time eating them if they're big or they're crunchy or it's just weird in the mouth. They just aren't sure what to do with it. But these are little teeny tiny treats and they're soft. So they're great because you can even break them in half. Like when you're doing your potty training routine, they just need a little bit to remind them, hey, this is a good thing. So these are what I suggest. Just little, soft, chewable treats. Again, the healthier that you can get them, the better. So we've covered crate, we've covered food and vitamins, dog toys. I have a huge list of dog toys that I love and dog toys that I hate. These are a few that work for us. First of all, Kongs are amazing. This one, as you can tell, has been around the bush a few times. It's also leaking on me. So with the Kongs, you can put stuff inside, so you can give them little rewards. They have to work for it a little bit, especially if you freeze it. Our favorite is, peanut butter and dog food, or peanut butter and banana, or peanut butter and apple, peanut butter and carrots. I like the peanut butter because it gets harder and it gives them something to work for. Sometimes with bulldogs though, if you're getting a bulldog puppy, they can get bored with it easier because they have a harder time getting their snout down in there to really get it out. but it's also really good for them to work at it. So I highly suggest Kongs. They're great. Nylabones are also really good. These have been chewed up, I don't even know. I think we've had this one for like at least 3 years, and it's still in pretty good condition. When I bought it, it had a bacon flavor to it. I didn't taste it, but that's what it was supposed to have. So I don't know if it has sauce flavor, but it still works for hard chewers. These rope ones are really easy to get in bulk. You can get like a puppy play kit type of thing with quite a few of these rope ones in there. They'll come with other soft, stuffy like toys, which those are all really good for puppies. But something that you have to keep in mind is that these are strings. They will come undone. They will break. There is a high chance that you're gonna have these inside their mouths, going down their throats and into their digestive tracts. So when they start getting frayed, make sure you throw them away. You don't want them having to try to digest any of these and then having to poop them out somewhere and give you heart failure. So they're good for a little while, but just make sure you keep an eye on them so that they're not coming apart. These here, I was really surprised with these. So I'm not usually a Hertz fan. I found a lot of their stuff questionable, we'll put it that way. So I don't suggest them on a lot of things, but these were on sale on Amazon when I bought them, and they have actually lasted. Whether it's with my bulldogs, or even my golden doodle has yet to destroy one, which is amazing. This one here is also supposed to be bacon scented. There's a squeaker in it, but the squeaker doesn't last long, which is okay with me. But they are soft and chewy, but they haven't punctured yet. So they're actually one of our favorites, and the dogs really like them too, which they look really funny when they're like shoved into their mouths. It's hilarious. A couple of things that you do not want to get. You do not ever, under any circumstance, want to give your dog rawhide bones. Rawhide dog bones are deadly, regardless of what people say. If you have ever seen a rawhide bone that has been chewed on for any length of time, you can see that it is smashed, it is mushy and slimy, it breaks off into pieces, and I have seen dogs start to choke on them because the pieces have broken off and they've gotten lodged in their throat. Not everybody wants to have to stick their hand down their dog's throat to pull this out. Done that enough. Don't buy the rawhides. You also want to be very careful. I actually will never give our dogs cooked or smoked bones. They tend to splinter, and then those splinters make it harder for them to digest. You don't want to have those tear anything on the way down or destroy anything in their stomach. So the cooked and the smoked, which might sound like they're safe, they're really not. If you're gonna do a bone, I highly suggest raw, frozen. We do a lot of deer or elk because my husband hunts and my kids. So when they bring in a deer, we take off what we need, and those bones, because they're also wild, I freeze them, which not only makes them last longer, but kills any germs or bacteria or parasites that might be living on them. So raw bones, good. Smoked bones, bad. Okay, so we've done gait, food, toys, vitamins. What are you gonna put your food in? That's a good one, right? So if you're getting a bulldog puppy, these are the kind that I suggest. They are supposed to be non-flip, which they still can, but overall it's easier. So I highly suggest those, or we use these a lot. There's different kinds, but this is a slow feeder. So when you have a bulldog puppy, most bulldogs will inhale their food as quick as you put it down. By putting it in a slow feeder, they can't get their face down in there as easily, so they have to work for it a little bit more, which means that they're getting less at a time, which means that they are slowing down. So if you have a bulldog, highly suggest a slow feeder. It's really great. It's also really good because they don't tip as easily as well. They're weighted a little differently. So those are really good. We use those for all of our puppies when they're weaning. I love them. They're easy to clean, you soak them. This is a water bottle that goes in their crate. This is something new that we've been using and we really like it. Siri, who was in the video, in the intro with me, hasn't quite mastered how to do this without making a mess, but for all the other dogs, it's been great. They just lick it and then the water comes, okay, well, she's really good at making a mess with it. Anyway, they just clips under their crate. It's easy to fill. They also, for the bulldogs, it also doesn't get all yucky and slimy and all that saliva floating around in there, so those are really good. So if you are one that wants to do things on your own, if you don't want to have to take your dog in to get this nails clipped, you definitely want to make sure you get a nice pair of nail trimmers. These just lock, super easy, just clip it down. Don't be afraid, I have like a nail trimming video on here somewhere. And then you want to make sure that you have Quick Stop. It's a septic powder, so when it starts to bleed, if you do cut it too short, it's okay, don't freak out. Just put some septic powder on it. What I do is I pop the cap off, pour a little bit into the cap, have it ready, and then that way when you do get some, when you do clip too short, you can pinch it off real quick, hold it onto the end for a couple seconds, and it stops the bleeding. And because it's septic, it also keeps it from getting infected. So those are awesome. You don't want to forget to buy a leash, a collar, or a harness. So if you have a bulldog puppy, I suggest a harness because they're a flat face breed. A lot of times their tracheas tend to be smaller than other breeds, so they already have that breathing difficulty. While collars are super cute and they're great once they're older and they've gotten the whole leash walking thing down, these are great, but until then, I always suggest a harness because then you're not pulling directly on their throat. So harnesses. Honestly, the best places I found for puppy harnesses is Dollar General because they're only like $5 and it's awesome because they grow so quickly as a puppy. So I don't suggest investing a ton of money on harnesses. Get a good leash, yes, but don't spend a ton of money on a harness because they're gonna outgrow it so quickly or eat it because that happens too. When you bring home your bulldog puppy, they're not potty trained. They're gonna pee in their crate, they're gonna poop in their crate, they're gonna eat stuff they shouldn't do, they might have not traveled well, they might be covered in poo by the time you get them. So I always suggest to get an organic baby shampoo. It's tear-free, it's easy on their skin, so when you have to wash them often, you have this in your back pocket to help keep them from drying out. And because it's tear-free, you don't have to worry about it stinging their eyes. So this is what we use. We'll put a link down below, but I really like the Honest Company ones because they smell really good. These are my favorite. Since they will be having potty issues, I suggest baby wipes. Baby wipes save lives. I'm not kidding. I have had 3 children and the oldest is 14 and I still use baby wipes, especially now that I have dogs. These go everywhere with us. If they pee in their crate and you just gave them a bath, it's okay to use a baby wipe and wipe them off. It's great for cleaning their ears, their nose ropes, their wrinkles, their tail pockets. It's just a great quick cleanup without having to do the whole bath, and it doesn't dry out their skin. But when you do use it on their nose ropes, just remember to dry it out. I have a whole video on cleaning your bulldog. Puppy pads are great, especially if you live in an apartment building where maybe it's a little bit harder to get down to the first floor or to get out to go potty. Puppy pads, we use them all the time. And don't forget your puppy poop bags. These are very helpful. These ones are biodegradable. And okay, we're not gonna do that. Puppy poop bags though, these ones are biodegradable, so you don't have to worry about using plastic and throwing it away and it being in the environment for years. If you don't have to take them out on walks and use poop bags, I highly suggest a pooper scooper that's like a rake and a shovel type of thing. The little claw ones are really annoying to have to carry the bag and then get it into the bag and then it gets stuck inside. Trust me, get the rake. Just listen to me on that. A lot of people want to buy their puppy a puppy bed, a dog bed, which is great. You know, you love your dog, you don't want to have to sleep on the cold floor or something, but you have to keep in mind that they are a puppy. They're gonna pee on it, they're gonna chew on it. So what I suggest is either starting out very cheap, don't go and spend $60 on a dog bed for a puppy that's going to destroy it. I learned that the hard way. So what we do is I go and I buy a bunch of baby blankets. I'll get them at thrift stores, or if I see them on clearance somewhere, or towels that I have left over. That way they have that softness, but it's also really easy for you to wash, and I haven't had very many dogs actually eat blankets. There's something about the bed with the stuffing in it that they really like, but the blankets, they still get that cuddle, and actually all of my puppies go home with their blanket, which allows them to have a scent from us. So as they're transitioning, they have that little bit of comfort, something that they already know as they're transitioning into their new home. So baby blankets and old towels are great. They'll love them, so don't feel bad for not getting them a huge plush dog bed. Brushes and combs are definitely something that you need, especially if you have a bulldog. This Nubby is great. It not only collects the hair, which you can see is still in there, but it's also really great for baths. It helps massage skin, get some of that dander off, which is really great. My favorite though is the Furminator, which somebody has lost, and we'll have to put a picture on here, and a link. They're a lot more economical now than when we bought ours, but they last forever. They're really great, and the bulldogs love them. So I think that is pretty much it.